So today, we're going to talk about supporting your child with early reading. Now, again, you don't have to teach your child to read before they go to reception. They will be taught how to read in reception class. That's what the reception teacher's job is. But if you're like me and my wife, you want to give them everything you can so we can gamify early reading. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Brief bit about what phonics is and how it came about, and then we're going to get into how you can do it at home using absolutely very, very little resources. You don't need to buy anything. I'm going to show you how to make everything, and then a couple of really fun games to play. I'm going to try and keep this as streamlined as possible. It's going to be a bit rough and ready because, as usual, I have no time to edit. So let's get straight into it with what is phonics anyway? So the Department for Education and the Early Years Framework Stage curriculum advocates let me get this absolutely correct. Systematic Synthetic Phonics, which is a bit of a mouthful, and all it means is learning the sounds that make up the words that we say. Like there are 26 letters in the alphabet, in the English alphabet, but there are 44 phonemes that those letters make. Yeah, there are arguments that teaching our children the alphabet, the A, B, C, D, the singing the song, is completely useless because it doesn't help them read, it doesn't help them write. It's useless for everything except alphabetizing books or DVDs, but everything's digital now. So, I mean, arguably, learning the alphabetical order of the names of the letters is completely pointless, but phonics is not pointless. That's the a, b, k, d, all of that business. 44 of them make up every single word we use in the English language. Gotta stress that, it's the English language that we're dealing with today. And that language is really difficult. English is one of the most difficult languages to learn because, let's face it, it makes no sense. My wife constantly argues that even learning phonics isn't terribly helpful because we have letters that come from Greek where a CH is a K, but then we have letters that come from the Romans where a CH is a Ch. And, you know, contextually children just have to learn these differences. And talking about context, the present tense of read, R-E-A-D, is read, but the past tense of read, R-E-A-D, is read, R-E-A-D. I'm sure you've seen countless funny videos about how comb is not pronounced the same as tomb, and there's that poem about the English language. Look them all up, they're all very, very funny. But the point is, we teach phonics at schools, and I'm going to show you how to give your child an early foot in the door with that. Like I said, I'm going very quickly because I know I have to edit this. First of all, we have to understand what makes a word, okay? And this is beyond the letters. Words are made up of two parts, an onset and a rhyme, R-I-M-E. The onset is the beginning of the word, it's the initial sound, and the rhyme makes up the rest of it. It's the rhymes that rhyme. For example, in the word cat, the onset is the k sound, and the rhyme is the at sound. And we can teach children to recognize these rhymes. And once they know the rhymes, it really helps them because instead of sounding out every single letter every time, they are learning the pattern. They're learning, oh, those two letters together make at. And this comes in really, really handy when they're doing their high frequency words, which don't follow the rules of phonics at all. Think of the. Think of others that I can't think of right now. The is the clue, Mr. and Mrs. All of these are in there. So just learning that group of letters, that shape makes that sound is really, really useful. And with this usefulness, we don't start with A, B, C, D, E, F. Completely useless. As I said, the order of letters in the alphabet, completely pointless. Instead, we start with 6 basic phonemes. They're phonemes because they're sounds. And the phonemes are s, a, t, p, I, n. So the letters are S, A, T, P, I, N, but the phonemes are those sounds, s, a, t, p, I, n. And before I go any further, we need to talk about pronunciation because this is where a lot of really well-meaning parents kind of slip up. And if you teach them the wrong sounds now, it can be very difficult for them because they have to unlearn it later on. And it just makes it more of a cognitive load for them later on. In English, there is the empty vowel sound, that sound that we sometimes use, is called a schwa. It even has a special symbol, a schwa. And we want to avoid adding a schwa. Say it, it's a fun word. We want to avoid adding a schwa to our phonics sounds. For example, let me show you here. I've got one more here. This sound right here. This is a t. It is not a t. It's a t. And this letter is a. It's not a p. It's a. Like you're blowing out a candle. Because, right, if you are making the word, I don't want this to be reversed for you, pat. I'll just, you know what, I'll write that one on the screen. Pat. It's not p-at-her, because that, you put that together, you get p-at-her, which is not the word, it's at, pat. So the phonics are really important. Don't add the schwa. If you catch yourself doing it, stop it. Stop doing it. Practice not doing it. What's the most is for H? Yeah, p, t. Oh, m. It's not m. Okay, we're not doing a Monty Python skit. It's That's the sound they need. The sounds are really important. Not m, not n, Avoid that schwa. Right, let's move on. Before we get into the games, I just want to say, if this is useful, if you're finding any of my stuff useful, please, if you haven't already, subscribe, because it really helps the channel grow, which it is doing, slowly but surely. It is growing. It's a niche. Education channels don't never grow very quickly, but it'd be really helpful. If you think it's really useful, share it. Please share it with everyone you can. It's free. It's just a click and you're there. So yeah, just let me know that it's something that you're finding useful, and I'll keep on doing it. Thanks a lot. Let's get back to the games. I am going to teach you a game called Ashley's Game, and it was taught to me by a teacher called Ashley, funnily enough. In Ashley's Game, we have phase 1 phonics. In. Phase 1 phonics. If you don't have fancy magnets, I say fancy, these are from Lidl, but if you don't have magnets, you can just rip up a piece of paper. Honestly, it doesn't need to be much. You rip up a piece of paper and write these letters. Ideally, don't have the uppercase. I can't find my lowercase a. Yeah, have the lowercase letters. Right, so what we do is we place these torn letters in a semicircle. So here we go, like this, with your child. You're both sitting on this side of the letters, so you're seeing the whole thing. And you take a phoneme. You take an onset phoneme. In this case, we've got the s. And then we see if we can make a word. So I'm going to go with s-ip. S-ip. Blending. S-ip. Segmenting. Sip. 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 Hopefully they get to read the word sip. If at this stage, by the way, your 4-year-old isn't reading the word, don't panic. Model it for them, because they're still learning. Sip. Now with Ashley's Game, what we do is we keep the rhyme. We've got ip, ip, ip. If they can learn that these two letters together say ip, then we can take away the s and we can add another phoneme. Now we have t, ip, tip. Tip, ip. Again, not t. It's not t, ip. It's t, ip. And then maybe we change it for nip, nip. Brilliant. Now what happens if they say, ip, ip, ip? Well, you're going to get these. You're going to get these. The DFE calls them alien words. I've heard them called junk words. I've heard them called rubbish words. Doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter, because we're teaching the children to learn how to read and use the sounds of phonics. So honestly, if they come up with crazy letters, let's do another one. San. Let's say they made san. All right, now obviously that's a Spanish saint. Anyway, but that doesn't matter. If they've read san, jobs are good and they're doing a great job. And this is Ashley's Game. You make up different rhymes and you see how many words they can make. San, Ian, you can talk about that. So that's Ashley's Game. So now is the time of the video where we go a bit Blue Peter. And we make our own little game with it. You can do this with the children, or you can do it without the children. It's up to you. But what I have here, let's see if you can see it there. We've got, you can see I've got the word tan. Then if I spin the cup, an, alien word there. And then if I spin it again, we've got san, then spinning it again. What is that? Pan. And as you can see, it's just 2 cups, one with onsets, one with rhymes, with some holes cut out. So, I mean, I'm going to show you how to do it because I fancy my Blue Peter moment. I've already shown you the one I made earlier, so I've messed it up already. You take your 2 cups. On the bottom cup, mine are really annoying because they have this bit there. On the bottom cup, you want to write your onsets, your 6 phonemes. So, s, a, t, I. Try and keep them lowercase. Sat, in. And then on your outside cup, you can see it in the light, draw a little window. That's where you're going to cut them out. I'll speed this up. Then what you're going to do is cut out your little windows very carefully, obviously. And the great thing about this game is it gives the children something practical to do as well, something to hold on to. And research has shown if you engage more parts of the brain when you are learning, you are far more likely to remember what it is you were doing. So we're being kinesthetic, that's the movement part of the brain. We're being auditory because they're listening to the letters. We're being visual because they're looking at what things are going on. There's a tiny bit of auditory as well with the sound of the cups. But yeah, so they're having fun while they're learning, and that's the best way to teach kids, because when they're having fun, they don't realize that they're learning, and they're a lot less resistant to it. So we've cut out our windows, and we've got all of our letters fitting in there very, very nicely. And then we take our pen again, and again, you'll do this far more neatly than I will, but I'm trying to get this done. And we make up some rhymes. Now the rhymes, CVC words, again, I'll put this on screen. CVC is consonant, vowel, consonant. So what we need to do, we've got two vowels, a and I. So we need to know how many different rhymes we can make with a and in. So let's put our I, we've got it, ip, we've got is, again, all lowercase, in, there we go. And you could also put windows around the top as well, so you double up. But now what we've got, as I showed you at the beginning, we've got tin, and they can spin it around again, and we've got sin. All of these words, remember, don't worry about the word means, don't worry about using it in context, is literally, can they recognize the phonemes and blend them together? If you don't have paper cups, you can use paper plates. I was going to use paper plates, but I don't have any split pins. So what you do is on the bottom plate, put your onsets, your 6 phonemes in, it's probably better on a plate actually. And then on the second plate, you would have your rhymes, cut out the windows, split pin in the middle, and they can rotate them, okay? You know what rotating is, I'm not going to show you that. And the genius thing with this is the children can decorate them, they can play with them, it doesn't mean recycle them afterwards, it's all good. So I'm going to finish this up, and hopefully it's going to look so rough and ready. I apologize for the rough and readiness, but hey, look, I'm all mic'd up this week, so at least you can hear how rough and ready it is. Don't panic. If your child absolutely hates these games, don't panic. Don't force them to do it. There's no point. Like I said, they will be taught this in reception. They've got a whole year before year 1 to get to grips with it. And once they're in with their peers and their friends and everyone else is doing it, they're more likely to fall into it anyway. I am showing you this so that A, you have an understanding of what phonics is and what blending means, what segmenting means, what CVC words are, what phonemes are, why they're only doing the first 6 and why those first 6 aren't A to G, A to F. Yeah, so don't panic. Don't panic. You are doing a great. If your child is happy, dressed, and sleeps at night, you are doing a great job. If you are happy, dressed, and sleeping at night, you're doing a great job. None of this is to worry you. It's just things you could do if you wanted to. I'm going to leave it there because I have to edit this and I've got mere minutes to do it. So thank you very much for your indulgence. Coming up very soon, I have been speaking with a fantastic reception teacher who's also a special needs coordinator, and we're going to have a bit of an interview session. So if you have any questions you want answered, ask me in the comments, put them below. If not, I've got 10, I've done some research, I've come up with the 10 most relevant questions for brand new parents of reception. She's going to be answering all of them. She's absolutely brilliant. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Set that alert button and everything. Do all that. Other than that, if this is your first time here, hi, how you doing? It's not usually this chaotic, but it's half term. If you've not seen the previous videos, go back and look at the previous videos because they're all very useful. Yeah, there's a reception readiness video, which is in the description now. I'm not going to put it on the screen, but it's in the description. Lots of people have downloaded it. Lots of people have said thank you, so that's great. Have yourselves a wonderful time, and remember, you can do this. You're awesome.